During the Cold War, there was a silent battle happening far away from missiles and political speeches. It was a war fought out on the streets. On one side, the United States rolled out Mustangs, Cadillacs, and Thunderbirds with thunderous V8 engines that shook the pavement. On the other side, hidden behind the Iron Curtain, came cars so strange, so improvised, and so unlike anything Detroit had ever built, they looked like they came from another planet. Some were absurdly simple, others were dangerously creative, and many were so bizarre the Soviet Union itself seemed uncomfortable letting the West see them. Today, you're going to meet 7 communist machines that challenge every rule of automotive logic. Vehicles the capitalist world was absolutely not prepared to witness. Let's begin. If you think you've seen a small car, wait until you meet the SMZ S-3D. This tiny microcar, about the size of a large refrigerator, was created in the 1970s exclusively for people with physical disabilities. The Soviet state gave it away at a massive discount, or even for free. It was so basic it looked like a motorized toy. A cramped cabin, a motorcycle engine making around 20 horsepower, a top speed of 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, no acoustic insulation, and basically no safety features at all. To an American, it's impossible to look at the S-3D and not think, this looks like a carnival bumper car someone accidentally released onto public roads. But here's the strangest part. Healthy citizens were forbidden from buying one. The sense of prohibition, mixed with the bizarre styling, turned the S-3D into the perfect symbol of minimalist Soviet engineering and of the state's total control over personal transportation. The Luaz 969 looks like it was designed on a rainy afternoon using a ruler, scissors, and zero time to spare. But the moment you see what it can do off-road, you realize how clever it really was under the skin. Originally built for light military use, it came with 4-wheel drive, fully independent suspension, ahead of its time, extremely low weight, and dead simple maintenance. Americans who talk about the Luaz on forums usually say the same thing. It looks like a modern UTV, but built in someone's backyard. And honestly, that's not far from the truth. It had no comfort, no refinement, and absolutely no luxury, but it had something priceless in extreme survival. In deep snow, remote villages, and brutal rural regions, the Lu AZ kept running long after Western cars gave up. If there's one Soviet car that always turns into a joke, it's the Zaporozhets. It was supposed to be a people's car, inspired by the Fiat 600 and the idea of the Volkswagen Beetle. But the result, well, became something very different. It had a rear-mounted, air-cooled V4 engine. It made a noise people compared to a lawnmower. It had giant side air intakes that looked like ears. Its proportions were strange, and the interior was so cheap it looked like a toy. In Russia and Ukraine, it became a meme. In the West, whenever Zaz 965 photos go viral, the most common comment is, "That's not a car, that's a home appliance with doors." But despite the jokes, the Zaporozhets did something important. It put millions of Soviet citizens behind the wheel for the very first time. Was it ugly? Sure. But for many people, it was either this or nothing at all. Now we get to the truly unique part of Soviet engineering. The UAZ-452 is a 4x4 van with such a basic design that it earned a nickname, Bukhanka, the loaf of bread. Imagine a VW bus. Now remove the comfort, remove the smooth curves, remove the safety, remove the German finesse, and add 4-wheel drive, a military-grade chassis, rugged mechanics, a brutally simple interior, and the ability to cross snowbanks, mud pits, forests, and mountains. The result is a metal box that can handle decades of abuse without dying. It's no surprise the Bukhanka is still used today by military units, emergency doctors in remote villages, and expedition crews. For Americans, the UAZ-452 looks like the perfect prop for a post-apocalyptic comedy movie. But anyone who has traveled in one knows the truth. It is almost indestructible. At the height of the Cold War, The Soviet Union wanted to prove it could match the West in automotive design. That's how the Moskvitch 408 Elite was born, a special export version made for markets like the United Kingdom, Finland, and Norway. Inside the USSR, it was just a simple sedan, but the export version got dual headlights, extra chrome, a nicer dashboard, a more modern steering wheel, and upgraded upholstery. The intention was good. The execution, not so much. To many Western buyers, the Moskvitch Elite looked like a strange mix of 1950s American design and bare-bones simplicity. In modern forums, Americans describe it this way: it's like someone tried to copy a Ford Falcon using a dull pencil. The Tatra 603 wasn't Soviet, it was from Czechoslovakia, but it lived in the same communist automotive ecosystem, inaccessible to the West. And unlike most simple Soviet cars, the 603 was advanced, eccentric, and almost futuristic. It had a rear-mounted, air-cooled V8. It had an aerodynamic body based on research Tatra started in the 1930s. It was reserved for high-ranking members of the Communist Party, and it had one of the strangest, most distinctive designs ever put on a luxury sedan. To Americans used to massive V8 limousines full of chrome and plush interiors, the Tatra 603 looked like a sci-fi character from a 1960s movie. Weird, innovative, and totally unlike anything built in Detroit. And now we reach the strangest and most fascinating car on this entire list. At first glance, the Gazzy 23 Volga looked like a normal sedan. Square, calm, respectable, just another bureaucrat's car. But underneath that innocent shell hid a secret: a 5.5-liter V8, an automatic transmission, special structural reinforcements, a modified suspension, and tuning designed for high-speed pursuit. This car was used by the KGB as an interceptor, a true sleeper car. On the outside, it looked like it was quietly blending into traffic, but the moment it was activated to chase or intercept a target, the Volga launched forward like a rocket. In American classic car circles, people describe it as a Chevelle disguised as a Soviet taxi. It was never sold to the public. It never appeared in advertisements. And even today, much of its documentation remains restricted. If there was one car the Soviet Union truly didn't want the West to fully understand, it was this one. If there's a pattern that ties all these cars together, from tiny microcars to secret limousines, it's this: Soviet engineering did not follow the same rules as the West. Where Americans chased comfort, style, and power, the Soviet Union chased survival, ruggedness, simplicity, and state control. And that's why these cars feel so fascinating today. They weren't designed to compete with Mustangs or Cadillacs. They were designed to survive snow, mud, bureaucracy, and the system itself, and maybe that's exactly why they're so irresistible to us. Each one carries a story that crossed borders, crossed regimes, and crossed decades, all the way to us here at Remember That Car. But the story doesn't end here. I want to know your opinion. Which of these 7 cars was the most bizarre? Leave your comment below. If you enjoyed uncovering these Cold War secrets, hit like now. And to make sure you never miss any of our upcoming deep dives into forgotten legends of engineering, subscribe to Remember That Car and turn on notifications. Did the story of the Gaz 23 Volga catch your attention? Then click the video on your screen right now, where we explore another automotive legend the industry tried to hide. I'll see you there.